Hello, I'm Richard Vobes, the bald explorer, out on another walk. Behind me you can see Shipley Mill, or is it Kingsmill, or Vincent's Mill, or Belloc's Mill, or even Martin's Folly. I made a video about it fairly recently, so do check it out. A beautiful mill, but on private land, and we can't go and see it. However, what we can do is visit some of the locations of the other mills that were here in Shipley.
Shipley is a small village about 7 miles south of Horsham in the county of West Sussex. Looking at a map from the end of the 19th century, we can locate the approximate positions of the 3 windmills that existed here from the 1700s onwards.
Just north of Shipley, which is just literally down there, is this field here. Just see, it's a very wet and boggy at the moment, but basically up here on this hill would have been in the 1700s the first of the mills that I know about for certain, and it was a black post mill with cloth sweeps, probably standing on the top there. Would have got a good bit of wind. Built sometime in the 1700s. We know that there was this terrible tragedy in 1787. A 10-year-old girl was playing around the mill. The sweeps were turning and she got hit on the head by one of the sweeps as it came down. Killed her outright. Terrible. Called Smart's Mill. Now, it's interesting that that's called Smart's Mill because John and Elizabeth Smart, whether they are the same people or the son or the daughter or whatever, they had a mill to the south of Shipley, which I'm going to go and have a look at next, or look for, and that is another post mill, said to be the highest mill in Sussex. So let's go and investigate that. This is probably not a great idea to do just in January after a whole load of rain, but we're doing our best. One of the things that one needs to understand really when you think about windmills is that farmers really depended on windmills back before the 20th century. The roads like this were muddy and difficult to navigate, for one thing. The sacks of corn that the farmers were produced were heavy and bulky, and with their horses and carts they couldn't really carry a huge amount. So windmills needed to be near the farms so that they could grind the corn.
Windmills come in all shapes and sizes, but generally there are 2 main types: post mills and tower or smock mills. Post mills, as the name suggests, has the main body of the mill revolve around a central post. It does so in order to keep the sweeps facing the wind and therefore turning and grinding the corn. Smock and tower mills have their central body stationary, while only the upper portion or cap with the sweeps attached turn. The last of the 3 mills, and the subject of my separate video, the Kingsmill, is a smock mill. The main body is fixed and made of timber, sitting on a roundel made of bricks. The Smart's Mill and the one I'm searching for now, Honeypole's Mill, are the earlier post variety. Smart's was black, whereas I believe Honeypole's was painted white. The question is, can I find it?
Just off the track now, the muddy track, and on a nice parallel road to Shipley, and in the distance there on the horizon is the Kingsmill as it was. But here, and coming up to Honeypole's farm, and in the field behind this, just here, you can see Honeypole's farm. In the field behind this, and I don't know exactly the location, but pretty much here, was where the Honeypoles mill was, the original Shipley mill, a post mill. Now, they do say that this mill, the post mill here, was the highest post mill in Sussex. Now, I assume that by that they mean the highest in terms of elevation. You don't feel like you're on the top of a hill here, but we must be. Now, there's a little hole in the hedge here. We can't really see very much, and there is a ditch, and I'm just trying to get through here. But basically, up there, somewhere in that field, probably in the woodland beyond, was where the post mill was.
Like Smart's mill, we do not have a picture of Honeypoles mill. The faint sketch of a windmill here is believed to be Kingsmill, with St Mary's Church at Shipley in the foreground. What we do know is that Honeypoles mill was built after 1801. It was owned by John and Elizabeth Smart, and apparently John was set upon and robbed on a return trip from Horsham one day. We also know that when the newer Kingsmill was built in 1879, Honeypoles mill was pulled down. The bricks from its roundhouse were reused in the construction of this house in School Lane, Hawthorne Cottage.
It's hard really to imagine the Sussex countryside, or even anywhere in England, with so many windmills dotted about. I mean, we see them occasionally dotted about, but there would have been plenty of them working in the wind, and when not in the wind, stationary, the millers probably pacing up and down, waiting for the wind. You can just about see beyond Church Farm, south, the Kingsmill looking resplendent in the sunshine, and the church also resplendent there. Two wonderful pieces of history. And as there is a footpath, it looks like I can get back to my car, which I've parked up by the other windmill, by taking this footpath. Anyway, oops-a-daisy. I hope you'll join me again on another of my bold exploring investigations and walks. Until the next time, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.